only company in the world able to design, produce, set up all widgets for level competition. Everything within the same company. Everything with the trustworthiness and professionalism that an official competition requires. Everything. Top 30. Top 30.
Well, good morning. Welcome back to Bercy. It's day 4 here. We've had 3 beautiful days full of qualifications, and then yesterday we moved into our first round of semi-finals. Hope you are back with us now. If you are, good morning to you, good evening, wherever you may be around the world. Quite an exciting stream for you yesterday as we moved through the men's bouldering semi-finals and then on to the paraclimbing first final of the competition, and then after that we went on to the semi-finals replay for the women earlier today in the lead category. Well, today we're kicking things off in a very similar fashion, only in reverse. So we're going to start things off with the women's bouldering semi-final this morning, and that's just behind me here. So I'm going to give you a little sneak peek about what that looks like. There you can see that's problem 4 on the corner there. And those are our 2 interesting shaped boulder walls. Very different to what we're used to seeing. The flat walls, these are all wrapped around each other, so they actually look like boulders, which is quite a nice one. In the background there you can see the speed wall as well that was used for the qualifications for the paraclimbers earlier in the week. One more day left to go after this one, so 2 days all in all. One with us here today. Welcome to day 4. And then tomorrow as well we have finals. The audience will be allowed in as well later on today around 6 o'clock, letting them in around 5:30 so they can get settled for some of the finals later on this evening. And please do stay with us for that because the atmosphere in here is going to be electric. I'm also going to show you just briefly a little sneak peek of the lead wall that's next to us as well now. So let's just have a little brief glimpse at that because we will be moving on and showing you that later on today as well. This is the men's semi-final in lead. We had women's semi-final lead yesterday. This is the men's semi-final. Another long route here as well in the men's semi-final. Yesterday the women's route had 52 holes. It was an 8B plus if you joined us for that one. Well, not long now until we start bringing some of our athletes out. I know that the men have already had their observation time on the lead wall because that will be happening at the same time. But let's have a little brief look at the start lists. Well, good morning if you are joining us. Here we are starting off with our first climber of the day. It's taken a minute there to just observe the route. This is Tamara Kuznetsova from Kazakhstan, making it through at the lowest to qualify from the qualification stage in 20th place all in all. And she did that in the qualifying round with 3 tops in 5 attempts, 3 bonuses in 5 attempts. She's took a minute on the ground there to observe this route. This is
a dyno here. This is problem 1. We saw the hand jam session on this problem yesterday. I was talking to Jackie Godoff about the routes being set. I'll have a little bit more information about the routes to go through with you in a little moment's time. But we are here now with Tamara Kuznetsova from Kazakhstan, 25 years old, born and lives in Shymkent. World Cup ranking at the end of 2011 was 82nd. But some interesting results on her best results. And also in speed for this climber. So 9th place at the Women's Speed IFSC Climbing World Cup in Shaanxi in China in 2011. Also 9th at Zinning in 2011. So this is problem 1 for the women. Good morning if you are joining us in the chat room. My name is Daniel Finn and I'll be with you all the way through this competition. Anything you might have in terms of questions or opinions on things, do send them into us into the chat room. We can see you in the chat and we'll have a conversation together. If you are joining us on YouTube as well, on the live stream over on the YouTube channel, do remember as well to pop over and join us here on ifsc.tv. That's www.ifsc.tv, and you'll be able to participate in the live chat as this event is streamed. Well, good morning to several of you just saying hello this morning. Hello, Chris. It's nice to have you back with us as well. And Scott already starting things off by saying, Dan, I need a fun fact. So with 1 minute 10 seconds left on the clock for Tamara, let's kick things off and start the day on a high with a Dan's fun fact. Tamara finding it difficult to get up onto the bonus hold there, not making this dyno. Well, here we are, Dan's fun fact. France has won the most Nobel Prizes for literature next to any other country in the world. Actually, I was saying another Dan's fun fact just the other day that there is a street in every town in France named after Victor Hugo, a very famous writer who, of course, wrote Les Miserables, which is also now an award-winning musical, and also wrote the story which became more commonly known nowadays as the Hunchback of Notre Dame. And there's actually a street named after that man in every town in France. Well, Tamara has managed to make the dyno with 5 seconds left to go. If she pushes up here, she could top this. 1 second. Right on the mark, but I think they're going to give her that one. That could not have been closer. That's reminding me of some of the things that we've seen earlier in the year in the women's bouldering from such athletes as Alex Puccio. Alex renowned for being able to, in the last 8 seconds, send a boulder that she spent 4.5 minutes trying to top. Alex just all of a sudden gets that drive in her, and in 8 seconds in Munich we saw her top out on a boulder that she'd spent 4.5 minutes to try and top. Well, here we are now with Kim Jain. Now, we saw her yesterday. Everyone, if you are a common joiner and participator in the chat or in the live feed, or even an adamant follower of climbing, this is a name that needs no introduction at all. We were talking about it yesterday. I was joined by Sheila. We'll be joined again by Sheila a little bit later on in the day today. If you don't know who I'm talking about Sheila Elizabeth McCarron. So we'll be able to have a chat with her later on. So good morning, Mr. Weezy, as well, joining us in the chat room. We are now with Kim Jain. Well, just to go through these problems with you then. Kim Jain, by the way, as we were talking about a few moments ago, saw her as the highest to qualify for the finals in lead climbing yesterday, so we're going to see her in that as well. She's also participating in the bouldering here. Here she's on B1. Now this is a 7A difficulty. So this is a 7A difficulty. Sander asking in the chat, have we already had a chat with Jackie about the problems? Yes, we have, and Sheila has been a lifesaver, managed to track down the man himself because he's very busy this morning. But I now have all the difficulties for you and what we can expect to see as we move through the competition. As I said earlier, we can see already that this is the jump, the dyno. Kim Jain, interesting to see how she's going to get on with this one, the jump, as she's one of the smaller climbers. Got to put in a lot of power on that one. So this is 7A. This is the dyno.
Yeah, Daniel, hello everybody, it's Sheila here. I was just out front trying to find Jackie to get his comments on these blocks, and there was the Kazakh climber who just didn't seem to get the jump at all in her head. She didn't seem to be able to picture it, so...
Well, I don't know whether you caught that, Sheila. Good morning, by the way.
Good morning, by the way, yes.
Well, Sheila is with me now. There's Kim Jain definitely getting the jump with 1 minute 50
Excellent.
left on the clock. That is a top there for Kim Jain, and I think her second, maybe third attempt. As you were saying just about the Kazakhstanian climber that we just had out, the interesting thing was that in the last 5 seconds, actually last 10 seconds she made the jump, and in the last 5 seconds she actually did top.
Oh no, that must have been when I turned my back on her for a split second to come back around here. Oh well, good.
Absolutely, that was as we sort of kind of went, oh well, she's only got 5 seconds, there's no way she's going to get there.
Oh, she did an Alex Puccio.
That's exactly what I just said.
Right, sorry.
That's exactly what I just said.
Oh, I obviously spent far too long in the chat room.
Oh, come on, Sheila, catch up. Well, yeah, she did, but I'm going to have to wait and see whether that's confirmed as within the time limit. So let's see what happens and whether she is going to receive that top.
Pulling a pooch, that's it. That's it, Scott, you got it. Pulling a pooch.
Well, some of you asked me in the chat room, how come I can't stream this in Germany? You might also have a problem if you're over in China and joining us there as well. I have to say that is unfortunately nothing to do with us. That's a ban on YouTube, I think, in those two countries. If you are after the stream, though, do not fear. If you go to 247.tv, 247.tv, that's the homepage of the company that brings you the IFSC feed. If you go to 247.tv and navigate through to the IFSC.tv's page, through that, through the variety of sports that we cover at 247 TV, there is an option on there for any of you joining us in Germany or in China as well. And make sure you come and join us in the chat room as well.
Just to answer Webb Parsons, how big is the crowd? Actually, it's not open to the public this morning for the semis. It'll be opening tonight with the opening ceremony at 1800 Central European time, and thereafter we go straight into some finals, including the paraclimbing. I know a lot of people were watching that on the stream yesterday, and it was quite, frankly, a humbling experience to watch these people climbing yesterday, and I'm sure that the finals will be fantastic tonight.
Well, hopefully that solves some of your problems. If you are joining us from Germany or from China, just get yourself over to 247.tv. Navigate through the variety of sports that we cover at 247 TV until you find climbing, the IFSC.tv page on that website. And there is an option there as well you will be able to click on for those that are in those countries. Unfortunately, it's out of our control. It's something to do with YouTube in those countries. But if you click on that page there, you should be able to catch the stream, and still all in HD today.
And there's Jenny Lavarda sticking the jump pretty much straight away, so but not managing to transfer up for the zone. The first climber out this morning, the Kazakh, she's on her second problem, and she's got the bonus hold on the left, as you can see.
It's lovely to hear that we are joined now from someone, Didu 974 in Reunion Island in the Indian Ocean, and you're receiving the stream perfectly. So if you are joining us anywhere from around the world, hopefully you're receiving all of this. We are back with Jenny Lavarda now as well.
Un grand bonjour à la Réunion, c'est sympa d'être là.
Question there from Webb Parsons, why can't the public watch today coming in here? Well, they will be here later on, I do believe. They're opening the stadium, the 17,000 seat stadium we are in here at the moment. The public will be let in at around, I think, 5:30ish, maybe 5 o'clock, just to get everyone seated in times for the opening ceremony later on today, so you'll be able to see that one.
It's only the final phases that have been open to the public. It's actually a Bercy issue. It's a very, very big venue here, and it's really expensive to put on competitions and open them to the public because of the security staff requirements and all sorts of other things. And the decision was made that only the final phases would be open to the public. But they did have some school classes coming in of different ages from the Parisian area, and they were really getting behind the paraclimbers the other day and making a right racket in the place, considering they weren't really that numerous. But having seen the size of this venue, it really took my breath away when I arrived yesterday lunchtime. The kind of noise that we can expect tonight when the place is full, I can only imagine what the atmosphere is going to be like. It's going to be awesome.
Well, we are sold out for both today and for tomorrow. Now let's see if Tamara is going to be able to pull something out here with 50 seconds roughly left on the clock. This could be another top for her. This is a 7A plus boulder. This is all about precision. Being very careful as you move your way up. This was the slab section yesterday. There are still some slabs on the wall, obviously, because they're built into the wall. But let's see what happens here. Can she do it with 35 seconds?
Yeah, because she knows this has probably got to be her last attempt, and so she doesn't want to risk coming off at this stage.
Oh, she slipped there for a second as well. It looked like she was going to come off that hemisphere feature. Her left leg's on there.
This is cool. Good weight transfer. Come on.
All she needs to do is do a little pop-up now, but she's got to be careful about it. Unfortunately, that's the end of that climb. That could have set her on an extremely comfortable position for the rest of the day. If they've given her that first boulder that she got her hand to just as the timer ran out, then to have two tops from the first two problems
would have been frankly surprising, but yeah, it would have really set the cat amongst the pigeons for the rest of the competition. Now, Jain being shorter, as we know, than the girl we've just seen, that last move, obviously, when you see the Kazakh having attempted it and missing the spring up for it, is how is Jain going to do it? And every time we said, well, she's so small, surely this is going to be tricky for her, and she just pulls things off. And for someone who doesn't, at least in competition, do a lot of bouldering, she seems to be doing very well just up until now. We've got an Austrian out on the first block as well. Let's see what she can do. She's having a good look at it before she tries the dyno.
Well, let's have a look at these boulders then. Moving from top left, that's problem one. And our next athlete is out now. On to problem one from Austria. Our next athlete, a very well-known name. You can see her just on the right-hand side there, and that is Barbara Bacher.
Look at the flexibility of Jain Kim. She has her knee up at her armpit level and turning out her, it's called bassin in French, I'm losing my native tongue. The lower abdomen area just opening out to turn on that exterior knee, and up she is as she I didn't see if she actually went for the zone there, which is the bonus hold with the sticker on it.
Well, if you are new to climbing, remember that this is the most amount of tops in the least amount of attempts. The athletes have 5 minutes here at the semi-final stage. 20 athletes through to the semi-finals. Here's Jain Kim popping for that final hold, and she makes it. An interesting point that I was going to say, if you are new to climbing as well, as Sheila was saying just a few moments ago, about bypassing the bonus hold there on the left-hand side. That won't matter as she's now topped out, because if you can top out, you automatically are awarded the bonus.
So what does that tell us all, guys? She's feeling extremely confident. She was so sure that she was going to nail that she didn't even bother taking the time to go over for the zone. Well, it's nice work if you can get it, but not everybody's going to be that confident, I would have thought.
Well, people are asking how the running order is working in the semi-finals. In the semi-finals, we start off with the lowest to qualify, so it is in reverse order. The last athlete to come out will actually be Alex Puccio, who is the highest to qualify through to the semi-finals, with 5 tops in 6 attempts and 5 bonuses in 6 attempts from the qualification stage in bouldering. That means that she only, of the 5 different bouldering problems that she attempted during the qualifications, she only had to try one twice to get it, and all other ones, they were flashes, what we call flash, which is doing it in one attempt, straight up the wall, not hanging around. And Barbara Bacher here now as well, coming out a little bit earlier, and that is because she did 4 tops in 7 attempts, 4 bonuses in 7 attempts in the qualifications.
There will obviously be exceptions that will deny what I'm about to say, but I think generally what we're going to see in the semi-finals is the first few climbers out will be those who are doing the overall competition, i.e. they're doing lead and block and speed, bouldering, sorry, and speed. So they're not, as such, bouldering specialists, and later on we will have the specialists such as Alex Puccio, such as Melissa Neve, such as Melanie Sandoz and so forth, and they will be and as they're the strongest climbers, they'll be coming out last.
Well, welcome if you are joining us. We're just starting things off today as we wait for our next athlete to come out onto the stage. Why not kick things off this morning with another dance fun fact? So let's start things off about Paris, which is where we are. Oh, look, there you are. This is our little graphic. 20% of the French population live in the Parisian region.
And they look down on the rest of us.
Sheila, you're over here, I believe. Where are you based in?
We're just outside of Lyon, and I used to live in Paris, and they consider they're just superior to just about everybody in the world, but they're all lovely people.
And that was 20% of the French live in the Parisian region. It's just a dance fun fact, guys.
If you scratch the surface, the actual 100% pure Parisians, there's probably not that many of them, because of course it's a big magnet for jobs and so forth, so most Parisians are actually from somewhere else.
So we get set for our next athlete to come out and join us on the stage as we move on to boulder problem 3 as well. Now let's go through the ones that we've discovered so far today. On the same walls that we had the men's semis on yesterday, but a different way around. Originally, boulder problem 3 that you can see now in the bottom left-hand side, that one was that was the dyno yesterday. Today, this is a 7B/7B plus. Tamara Kuznetsova of Kazakhstan now moves on to that one. I believe she topped the first one, but she did it just as the clock ran out, so I'm hoping that she got that one, but we'll wait and see. She very nearly topped the second one. She needs to top this one now if she has any hope of moving forward into the finals. And that is a 7B/7B plus. That's the bottom left-hand side of your screen. Our first US athlete of the day is out, Angela Payne from the USA. She's on a 7A difficulty problem, and that is the dyno, the jump there, which was originally the hand jam session that we had yesterday for the men's. If you want to catch up on that, guys, get yourself over onto the YouTube channel and click on IFSC. Look for IFSC's YouTube channel and have a little look at that. The upload is already there. You'll be able to watch day 3 and the bouldering male semi-finals. Looks very similar to this, actually. Why not get them both up at the same time and watch the men and the women battle it out for those places in the final. There's 6 places through to the finals. that's a 7A with Angela Payne. Over on the top right-hand side now, Jenny Lavarda of Italy is currently on a 7A+. And this is the precision route. This was the slab yesterday, caused a lot of problems for our athletes.
See, she's gone for the bonus. Does this mean she's not feeling that comfortable that she'll get up to the top? Maybe it's just an insurance policy. Might as well get it if I can, and then you never know. So.
Well, we were saying yesterday, Jenny is one of those athletes that the pressure definitely gets to when she is climbing. Jenny's very expressive when she is climbing. If she's doing well, she's very expressive about it, and if she's doing bad, well, the audience definitely know about it.
Yeah.
And I often see her actually talking with her coach, having some very intense conversations. I believe that she takes climbing exceptionally serious.
Well, she's a complete competitor. There's no problem about that. So, for people who are not used to watching bouldering, maybe we could give a couple of precisions about how this actually works. If you can see at the bottom of Angela Payne's boulder, there's some scotch tape, some tape down at the bottom, and that indicates at the very bottom where she has to put her feet. There's one on the big handhold you're about to see her touch there. There's a bit of tape there and to the left, which indicate the start position. Then there's a tape that shows where the bonus hold is, and then obviously the top is the last hold at the top. So they have to start with their feet on those, with their hands on those, and after that they can find any solution they like to get to the top, as long as they don't go past any black tape that may be on the problems, which indicates that it's a no-go area. So for example, they might decide to put a bit of black tape down to the left of Jenny Lavarda's arm, which they haven't, but say they had. Black tape down where Jenny's got her arm to indicate you're not allowed to put your foot around the other side for a toe hold, for example. That could be the kind of thing that you come across in a bouldering competition.
And what is that saying that we said yesterday, Sheila, when you were talking about black tape, about if it's out of bounds?
I think I said what's not prohibited is allowed.
What's not prohibited is allowed. I think that's quite a nice little life mantra.
Yeah, steady. It's early in the morning and the day's going to be very long.
It is indeed going to be a long day, but full of excitement as we move into the rest of the competition here. Starting things off this morning with the women's bouldering semi-finals. Now, while this is going on, just to the left-hand side, not to get you all too excited, but the men's lead semi-final is happening simultaneously. And don't worry, we'll be bringing you that later on as well, and then moving into also some finals later on this evening, as the audience are allowed to come in, at least 9,000 seats, and we are sold out when they move into the arena later on. Good morning if you are joining us. My name is Daniel Finn, and I am joined here by Sheila Elizabeth McCarnan.
McCarran, thank you.
McCarran.
It's all right.
I keep calling you McCarnan.
It doesn't matter. Sheila's fine. Everybody calls me Sheila. Somebody was asking in the chat room, why is it 8 finalists in the lead climbing and only 6 in the bouldering? It's also true of the semi-finals. 26 go through in the lead climbing and only 20 in the bouldering. Frankly, I do not know, but I'm going to go on a hunt for Graham Alderson, who I'm sure has the answer to that, or someone else who does. Maybe it's purely a logistic thing, but then they get longer for the lead climbing than they do for the bouldering for each problem, but then they only have the one route, whereas the bouldering they have the 4 routes. So maybe it's just about the length of the competition and the amount of time that the athletes have to hang around in isolation and waiting between each boulder. They get cold between each try. I don't know, but I will personal engagement. I shall go and find the answer to that question.
It is a difficult one to call. I remember in Vienna earlier this year, we actually had each athlete out one at a time in the bouldering final, and we ended up doing a broadcast that was over 3.5 hours long, just for 12 athletes to come out and compete in Vienna. We wanted to bring you this in, well, this one has to be brought to you in quad screen so you can see what all of the athletes are doing. So maybe it is a time thing, I don't know. Sheila is off on the hunt and we'll get that answer to you as soon as possible. As I said earlier, any questions you might have, do send them in to us here at IFSC.tv. And thank you for joining us as we move through the day. So here we are now with our next athlete, Olga Yakovleva of Russia. Comes out onto the first problem, which is the jump. Now, as we were going through and our athletes were moving forward, I was explaining to you what the boulders were. Now, you can see Jain currently on problem 3. That's Kim Jain. and this is the compression. You can see she's going to have to really bear into that overhang section there to push up and round onto the bonus hold. You can just see in the middle of the green arrow on your bottom left-hand corner now. Now this should be easier for Kim Jain. This should be easier for Kim Jain because she is a smaller climber, and these kind of compressions are easier for the shorter climbers. If you're bigger, there's more of you to push into that corner, but Kim Jain, as one of the smaller athletes, should be able to manage this relatively easily, although I do say that it is a 7B or /7B plus as well. So Kim Jain now currently with 2 tops under her belt so far today. If she gets this one, she is in very good standing indeed for moving into the finals for the women's bouldering as well. Olga Bibik now joins us as well, the 29-year-old athlete from Togliatti, world ranked 16th. Olga, she's currently this year, 2012, on the World Cup rankings, ranked 16th as well. She was just up there on the top left-hand corner, which is now being cleaned by our tooth fairies with their giant toothbrushes. And there next to her you can see Barbara Bacher as well, whose sister is also a very well-known climber. If you want to find out any information about any of these climbers, get yourself over to ifsc-climbing.org and you'll be able to find some information. I can tell you that Barbara Bacher's page on the IFSC site is very well put together indeed. There's a lot of information on there about Barbara, and also a link to her website as well if you want to follow what she's been doing out on rock. There you can see her shaking her arms out. We were talking about that yesterday and how the build-up of lactic acid can be a problem for climbers. Barbara Bacher right at the top now, as bypassing the bonus and moving over to the right-hand side in your top right screen. Guys, so keep your eyes on Barbara as she now moves up and just manages to secure that top there. Looked like she was going to lean around to the right-hand side, but no, she held it, she stuck it, and got that second hand up there with just 14 seconds left on the clock. And unfortunately, Kim Jain is still on the floor, which is surprising. We were talking about the compressions earlier. Let's see how our next athlete gets onto it, and also what happens as we move on to our first athlete to attempt problem 4. Now this is a 7B plus, and this is all about the fingers, and it's also a very powerful power-based boulder. Sheila, you're back and running and look excited, so I'm going to hand it over to you if you find some information on that one for us.
Yep, I actually did find one of our competition judges who deals with all of the bouldering and lead and all the rest of it, and she's an absolute encyclopedia in terms of the rules and regulations. And it is, as I was suggesting, just a pure timing issue. Otherwise, the competition drags on too long if they were to have 8 finalists in the bouldering or 26 semi-finalists, and so it's 6, and it's always been 6 apparently.
Well, there you are, as we were thinking that it would be a time thing. It is, so that's hopefully answered that question. That's why we have 6 in the bouldering final and 8 in the lead. Well, Olga Bibik is now out on the wall, just about to start off on her first attempt on the jump, the dyno. Here she goes. Oh, just an update from our producer saying what we've done for you is you can't actually navigate over to the start list page. If you just click on the details tab, just next to the chat tab, you can see the start list there. He's managed to pull that up for you. So if you're after a start list, just click on the details tab just below the screen at present.
Slow, you're asking why not lead men? The lead men are climbing as we are commentating the ladies bouldering, and we're filming it all for you. But we'll be transmitting it later on as if it were live. We'll comment it as if it were live, so you won't miss anything. Olga Bibik is one of the taller boulderers, complete climbing family. Her partner, Evgeny, is better known for his lead climbing. We saw him last year in Chamonix. I haven't seen him since, to be honest. And their little boy, completely useless fact, is the same age as my younger daughter Sophie, and the two of them competed in a kids bouldering competition after Briançon 2 years ago. And he wiped the floor with everybody else. I think he had 3 or 4 problems of an advance on the other boys. It was a contest format, so you had 25 problems or so to solve in 3 hours. And the only ones he didn't do were the ones that were set for people who are 3 years older than him. So I think it's fair to say we may be seeing something of him in the future.
And that's something we're definitely seeing over on the Youth World Championship just recently over in Singapore. If you want to catch up with that one, get onto IFSC's YouTube page and have a look on there. Now moving on tomorrow, now coming on to problem 4, and the bottom right hand corner of your screen, this 7B plus problem. It's going to see the first athlete trying to attempt that one. We were talking about Olga as well a few moments ago, saying she's one of the taller climbers. It's going to be interesting to see how she gets on with her height when she moves on to B3, which Jenny Lavarda is on now, which is all about compression. Let's see whether that height becomes an issue when she moves on to that one at all. We're still with Angela Payne. We haven't really talked about Angela Payne yet, so let's have a chat about Angela Payne. We saw her earlier in the year over in Vale. She came out for the bouldering competition there and ended up ranked 17th. She's a 27-year-old athlete, Angela Payne. World ranked 28th at the moment. It looks like she has took the intended route there over to the bonus hold, and now he's moving over to the right. Sheila, what have you experienced of Angela over the past few years?
I'll be brutally honest, I don't think I've ever seen her climb.
Have you really never seen her climb?
I don't think I have.
Well, she was with us in Vale. She was with us in Vienna also this year, and she was also at Log Dragomir. So she's had quite an attempt this year on the bouldering circuit. She was 31st at the end of Log Dragomir in Slovenia at the start of our year. She was 15th at Vienna, which is her highest placement for this year, 15th. So making it through to the semi-finals in 2 previous rounds this year for bouldering. But the bouldering season has now ended, and she's finished the Climbing World Cup with a ranking this year of 27th. And that is actually down from the year before. She was 21st in 2011. She's managed problem 2 there. But no top for our athlete from Kazakhstan on problem 4, and we are rejoined by Kim Jain, now attempting that problem, the 7B plus.
And we've got our first, you can maybe hear in the background the local speaker getting quite excited, because on the first boulder is Cécile Avzou for France. She's going for the combined event. She was doing pretty well in the lead and came off. She was frustrated. She said that she felt really fresh, and then her foot went and she couldn't keep a hold and came down prematurely on the lead wall. So that was frustrating for her. So she's going to be hoping to make up some points on the bouldering. She is a member of the French bouldering team. We've seen her climbing lately, so she seems to be on good form. There'll be 2 more French climbers later, Melissa Neve and Melanie Sandoz, so that's the kind of local interest.
Question from KK in the chat: where can you watch the semi-final lead men? KK, if you just look down on the screen that you're on now, if you're joining us here on IFSC.tv, just look down on the screen there. There is a schedule of what we are showing you today. Do not worry, you will see it.
Unless I'm very much mistaken, I believe Cécile Avzou just flashed that first problem.
Well, that goes to show. We were talking about Cécile yesterday.
turned up with her family. We were behind them coming into the car park this morning, and with her many children. She had a break in her career to go and ensure the entire French climbing team of the future, because she has three kids, and her husband and the kids were turning up when we did, and they said she was feeling pretty sharp, and they managed to secure the best possible vantage point in front, because, as we were saying earlier, there's not much of a public in here so far. Jain just coming off at the top there. Well, she's still got plenty of time to have another go at this, but obviously, as Daniel was saying earlier on, the thing about bouldering is you want to get to the top in as few attempts as possible, and at this level of competition, every attempt counts. You just need to ask Guillaume Guérin-Mondé, who missed the final for the men by one bonus hold. He was in that fateful 7th position, but he's wishing there were 8 finalists for the boulders. But
it wasn't actually the bonus hold, it was the attempt on the hold that split him and
that's right, it's even worse than what I'm saying.
Yes, which is just, you cannot get closer than that. And that's attempts on a bonus, which is possibly why Kim Jain is trying to save a little bit of time on that one. Maybe she saw the results from yesterday, and that's why she bypassed the bonus hold on problem 2, which you can see Olga Bibik now on. If you do get to the top, you automatically receive the bonus hold.
Well, the other thing too is Jain, like Cécile, is going for the combined title, and obviously the more attempts she has in the bouldering, the more it takes out of her. Because she's got the lead final tomorrow, and she's got the speed to do, so it's obviously all about economy of effort. I mean, yes, she is a top level athlete, and yes, she's completely trained for this, but it's like anything else, the less you do, the better it is, really. And here she goes. These are punishing. There's real... You see the strain it is on her shoulders and her arms on those moves there. Barbara Bacher's having a bit of a think before she gets back on here, shaking her arms out. There's Jain, she's got the hold. Can she match it? A little bit of ballet with the feet, that's it. She's pleased about that. And that completes her circuit. I think there would be something seismic if she wasn't in the next phase. 3 tops out of 4, that's not a bad record at all. And Daniel's just saying to me, and the one she didn't get was the one we pretty much would have bet the house on, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. Olga tops out on problem 2, so that's good news for her, obviously. And only 7 seconds to go until we hear that absolutely charming buzzer. There we go. And the shorter buzzer that's of that ilk is the one that tells them that they have 1 minute left on the boulder, if you were wondering what that was all about. So we see Monika Recchi of Germany for the first time. Olga Bibik of Russia goes on to the second problem. Angela Payne moves on to number 3, and Jenny Lavarda on her last problem.
I love that warning noise. It sounds like the ship about to explode noise from sci-fi films.
Well, when it went off first thing yesterday after I arrived, I thought, oh my God, it's a fire drill or something. They're going to have to evacuate the entire place, and it's so cavernous in here. I'm not sure just how quickly we would all get out if it all went pear-shaped, but let's not dwell on that.
Well, Olga Bibik now moving on to problem 2. That's 7A+, all about precision here. You were saying earlier, actually, she's one of the taller athletes. Yes, she definitely is. 165 centimetres tall. Very light.
Yeah, I was just looking at her stats. She's 2 centimetres shorter than I am and considerably lighter, but you know, she's 15 years younger also, and she competes at the highest level, so that's probably fine. No, she's very rangy, and there's a thing where you have the small climbers who think that tall people have an advantage, and the tall people who will say, well, no, we don't, because when you're on a boulder, or even sometimes in lead climbing, where you have a real You have to fold yourself up into a kind of Z bed position. It's difficult for them then to unfold themselves because they don't necessarily have the leverage on their leg because their knees are so high. I'm kind of making frantic hand gestures to explain what I'm saying, which obviously you cannot see, so I'll stop immediately. But I know my husband, for example, he's 1.85 m and it's all in the legs, and sometimes he gets stuck under these overhang boulders and he just can't get out of them. His knees are in the way, so.
Well, Monica Recchi now coming out onto the jump, and indeed finishing up on the jump with 3 minutes still left on the clock. A very strong start for Monica. I was talking to Udo, the German coach, the other day, who is a lovely man, and I will try and catch him as we move through the competition, about the German team and how they've been performing this year. Exceptionally strong. We now have Jan Hoya in the final for the men's bouldering, and that will be coming up very soon, guys, so do stay tuned for that one as well. Well, welcome if you are joining us. People asking who the lady speaker is. Well, that is Sheila. She's joining me, Daniel Finn, as we move through this day. And Sheila, I believe later on you've got some announcements to make out in the main arena.
Yeah, I've got sweaty palms just thinking about it. They've asked me, given me a huge honour. Palms, sweaty palms, Michael. They've asked me, and it's a huge honour, to do the comparing for the opening ceremony, the closing ceremony, and the podiums. So I won't actually be introducing the climbers as they come on to climb, but I will be doing the kind of Olympic and in gold medal position representing blah. We have so and so later on. So that's a huge honour in English and French, which is why they took me.
Well, going back to Olga Bibik as well now, world rank 30th at present. She's been as high as 17th on the World Cup rankings, and that was in 2010. You can see her just in the top right hand corner of your screen now. She's been higher than this. She did go up to the bonus hold a few moments ago. Let's see whether she can navigate the section to the right where you have to bear across from that hemisphere shaped volume there.
Yeah, Olga had an injury last year. She wasn't able to compete for quite a while. I think it was her shoulder from memory. And she was out for quite a while, but she's come back and she's looking pretty strong. She really was very focused on this championship. This was the one she wanted to be on form for, as they all did. And I think some have maybe been a victim of overtraining or over-competing. We've got lots of finger injuries. Mina Markovic isn't here. Sasha Degulian isn't here. Alizé Dufresne isn't here, or at least I haven't seen her. She was injured at Arco. Remember, she had a kind of arm issue at one point when she was on the lead at Arco. And she came down early. She was clipping on, and you just could see that she had an issue with her arm, and she came down. And I never heard what that was about. I might be able to find that out from one of the French team members later on, but I haven't seen her here. I don't think she's here.
Well, with 5 seconds left to go, we get ready to welcome our next athlete out onto the semi-final walls. Just a question from us to you guys in the chat now. If any of you joined us for the male semi-final, which was yesterday, how do you think these routes compare to the male semi-final, and what do you think of the walls in general, the problems that we're facing here? What is your opinion on that one? Do send that in to us so we can have a conversation about it. But as we talked about Monica Recchi and talking to Udo, the head coach for Germany, just a few moments ago, we now move on to our next athlete, which is Jula. We saw her over in Munich on our home turf recently, storming the stage, as it were, as the crowd there was absolutely huge, tens of thousands. I think it was 15,000 we saw in this tiny area, and there was at least 6 on qualification day there, and the screams as she entered to attempt were just incredible.
Well, you were there, and obviously you had it all around you, but even we were watching it at home on the streaming, just for a change, because some people think I live on the stream, but it was fantastic. We certainly had a real feel for the atmosphere when it was coming into the living room. It was fantastic. Well, you'll have seen Cécile Avzou on problem 2. She was walking through it before she even put her hands on it, just to try and figure out how she's going to attack it, keep the number of attempts down. She's looking to make major points on the bouldering. Juliana Wurm is making light work of this. first problem. There she goes, and she's flashing that easily.
No, that was her second attempt.
Oh, sorry,
She missed the pop on the dyno on, on her first attempt, but that's still only her second attempt. Just goes to show what a world-class athlete Julianne Wurm really is. And also Cecile Avezou, I believe. Is this still Cecile's first attempt?
Yes, she had a good old look at it before she went near it. Didn't see her attempt it physically. She really did walk herself through it mentally. There you go. Good one, honey. Love it, love it.
So I believe that's Cecile's second flash of this semi-final. She's come out twice so far, problem 1, problem 2, and flashed both of them. So I think we might be seeing Cecile, if she's obviously in a good headspace. Let's see how she moves through the competition. I wish her all the best of luck as we do go through this.
You know, we were talking about yesterday Sachiyama and Momoka Oda, who really obviously enjoy competing, and they're always smiling and so forth. I have never seen Cecile without a smile on her face, apart from maybe the split second that she comes off her route because she's annoyed with herself. But then she kind of puts herself in a, well, it's not the end of the world kind of thing, and she knows what she needs to work on for next time. And she's an incredibly positive mental attitude, and I think and a complete battler. You know, she just doesn't give up. She loves it. She loves what she's doing, and she wants to make the most of it.
Well, I think Chris Webb-Parsons is joining us in the chat. We were talking about the atmosphere in Munich, and he'll be able to tell you about that one as well. Just looking across, because Chris was co-commentating with me at the time, both of our faces just dropping every 5 minutes as we looked out and just saw more and more people swarm the auditorium there in the Olympic Stadium in Munich. But an interesting point that's made there by the Webb-Parsons, he's saying he'd like to see some more simple walls that were just an incline as on a flat wall and just based around holds. That is interesting. We did see that earlier this year in, I believe there were a couple of walls in Vienna that were very similar to that, with very few volumes on them. And also in Log Dragomir we saw some walls like that as well. As I said earlier, are your opinions in the chat room of these walls? I think they're quite snazzy for a World Championship. I think the fact that they've made the boulder walls actually look like boulders, I think is a good thing.
Yeah, I think there's a definite strategy to go for the visual impact, and they contrast very well with the lead wall, which is in oranges and reds and whites, and this is in green and whites. And it does, the fact that you have these different shapes and the two colours to accentuate them, it really gives it a kind of space age geometric feel. And you get a better sense, I think, of the relative overhangs. It gives a real dimension, a depth to it. You can see it in 3D, as it were, instead of the flat spaces where you possibly wouldn't get the same notion of sheer angle and depth.
Definitely the colouring helps, because you can see there on the top right-hand side of the screen the slabs section there, the white that's going around there on the slabs. It's kind of hard to be able to see the dimension of it, and luckily they've marked some of it in the green as well, and you can see the lean on that one there. But an interesting point there about whether we should have some more straight walls and just on an incline with some interesting holds. Well, I think these have had some very interesting holds, and I will say that one of my personal favourite route setters, Jackie Godoff, that we saw in Log Dragomir as a head route setter there. Always, I mean, he's not head route setter here, but he's one of the route setters. He's on the team. You can't be a head route setter in your home nation, and he is French. But he was one of the route setters here, and he always sets interesting problems. He also always gives us gradings that are a little bit lower than we think they actually are. But Jackie is a very, very experienced route setter, and I think he's done a phenomenal job with the team, obviously, here as well, of putting these walls together. Yesterday for the men's semi-finals, it was just incredible.
We're just looking for the difficulties that you were asking for from yesterday's men's boulders. We don't obviously have them for the final yet. But the ladies today, the first problem is a 7A. That's the one with the dyno move. The second one is a 7A plus, which is more of a precision type of boulder. And the third one is a 7B plus, which is all about compression. And the fourth one is a 7B plus, which is all about fingery power movements and quite an interesting problem altogether. On boulder 1, we have Hannah Mitbo, who unsurprisingly is Magnus Mitbo's sister. Angie Payne, bottom right-hand side, is having another go at boulder number 4. There's a little less than 3 minutes to go, so plenty of time to work it out. But as we were saying earlier, bouldering is all about as little attempts as possible. Olga Bibik just coming off boulder number 3, asking for the handholds to get a bit of a brush down there to get rid of the excess chalk, improve her hold on it. Un petit coucou aux Français qui sont là, c'est Sheila du Club Vertige à côté de Lyon. Je sais que vous êtes nombreux à être dans des cars, des trains, des voitures, à venir à Bercy. Pour ceux qui ne peuvent pas y être, ça va être énorme. L'ambiance va être juste géniale.
See, every time I leave, you just go French.
I can't help it. It's my dual personality. What can I say?
Well, you were asking about the men's difficulties yesterday. Well, I will say, get yourself over onto the YouTube page for the IFSC and watch yesterday, because it's definitely worth watching the men's bouldering semi-finals. It was very exciting as we moved into the latter stages of the competition. It became very close indeed. But to talk to you through the problems, well, I was also talking to Jackie a few days ago about the difference between setting for men and for women, and that we have very few female route setters. It would be something that we want to see in the future, some more female route setters, and for a man how hard it can be sometimes to read a route for women. But just to show you how close the two categories are, in the semi-finals, B1 and for today is a 7A difficulty. The bouldering number 1 up in the top left hand of your screen, and for the men yesterday that was just a 7A plus. The only difference was a plus on the one between men and women. On the second problem, in the top right-hand corner, you can see Monica Retzi on that now after the sci-fi alarm has gone off to let us know that she's only got a minute left. That was a 7A plus. Sorry, that is a 7A plus today. Yesterday, that was a 7B plus. So a little bit harder. Over onto B3 now, on the bottom left of your screen, the one that Olga Bibik's on at the moment. Today, that's a 7B. To a 7B plus, and yesterday that was a 7B plus as well. So almost exactly the same today on problem 3 as it was yesterday, and then on problem 4 today it's a 7B plus, and yesterday it was a 7C plus. So not a huge difference between the two different grades.
Well, some of you in the chat room are disagreeing with that. Maybe it all depends where you're coming from, but certainly there's not the huge difference between the men's difficulty and the women's difficulty levels as there may have been in the past. And women's bouldering really has been transformed over the last, I think, 2 years. We're seeing a lot more powerful women, and they're also doing more powerful movements on the lead climbing, I would say. But the grading is fairly subjective, because some people prefer the real power moves, some people prefer the American bouldering style and the European bouldering style are not quite the same, for example, and so some routes might be graded the same, but they will present different difficulties depending on the type of climber you are. So it's all about what you can do on the day, really, in a competition setting, I think. So we have Katarina Sarvain, who's out for Austria on the first boulder. Juliana Wurm has moved on to number 2. Cecilia Vzou, can she flash the third one in a row? That would be fantastic, obviously, for the French crowd who are starting to come in. And Olga is taking her time working out number 4.
Well, Katharina Sawin, now the 24-year-old athlete from Innsbruck, world ranked 10th at the moment. She's been sitting around that height as well for quite a while. World ranked 10th. She's currently 11th on the World Cup ranking for this year. She finished up the end of last year in 10th as well. And 2010, at the end of the World Cup ranking, she was 14th there as well. So she's definitely at the top of her game in the highest section of athletes that we have. I can see Sheila shaking her head. She obviously wants to say something.
No, sorry, I wasn't disagreeing with you. I was looking at Jule Wurm, who was hesitating, trying to change her hands, didn't feel she had it right, and came off, in fact. She wasn't looking very happy about that changeover just in the middle between the blue and, I think it's blue, and yellow handhold before moving up for the top. Somebody was asking, how do you tell what the bonus holds are? There's a red tape on them. On Juliana Wurm's problem number 2, it's just where he was brushing. That's the bonus hold there. And then as far as when they get to the top, yes, they have to match the second hand onto the hold, but also be stable on it. It's not a case of, oh, touch and fly off. You really have to show to the judges that you have it and that you've nailed it. And it's the judge who says when you can come off.
I can see also Alex in the chat room talking about the grading, saying it's the first competition I can remember that it has been graded. Well, I can tell you that these are just gradings from a conversation with the route setters to give us a rough idea of what the kind of difficulty of these boulders are. So that's what we're looking at here. It's something that we have been doing for the entire year so far as well. If you want to go and look at some of the other gradings for the bouldering competitions, go over to IFSC's YouTube channel and watch some of the other competitions from this year. Also, the thing that I need to do that I haven't done yet today, and I think I need to start pushing for as well, is for you guys to get over onto Facebook for me and start liking the Sport Climbing 2020 page, so that we can get that up to at least 7,500. Likes, and that's going to help us move towards the Olympics in 2020. Well, yes, also the other thing that we also need to mention about the coming years, we just moved over from our World Youth Championship over in Singapore, and guys, you should be getting prepared as well for next year's World Youth Championship. Definitely want to watch the World Youth Championship because it's where we see the athletes that are going to be moving up into the World Championships and indeed the Senior World Cups in years to come. You get to have an idea of what the competition is. Get yourself over and watch the replay of Singapore. It looks like that was Julien Wurm giving up there.
Yep, both she and Cécile Avzou, with about 30 seconds to go, a little over 30 seconds, went and got their sheet back. They all have a little sheet and the judge crosses off what they've done and what they haven't in the number of attempts. And they came and got their sheet, meaning that they're stopping that particular problem and going on to the next one. Maybe trying to save energy or something, but that's particularly surprised about Jule. Cécile, you could always argue that it's because she knows she's got the lead behind that and the speed, but Jule, she should be up here for this bouldering.
But yes, as I was saying a few moments ago as well, when we're talking about the Singapore World Youth Championships, guys, prepare yourself for being over in Canada next year for the World Youth Championship there as well. Commander, the main organizer for that event, is getting set up to be prepared for next year's event over on Vancouver Island. So Google the World Youth Championships as well and catch up on how that went this year and what we can expect to see next year. It's sure to be a fantastic event coming up next year. Jana Shershneva now out on problem 1.
So we have another very strong Russian boulderer, Jana Shershneva. It's the new generation coming up behind Olga Bibik. I'm sorry, Olga, to be treating you like an old lady, but she is certainly one of the older climbers, along with Cécile Avzou. Olga is 35 and Cécile is 40, as we've already said. Jana's that bit younger, and she's been a frequent flyer on the bouldering circuit lately.
Yes,
Quite
only
often in the top.
Jana, so there is the age gap there as well. But we were saying yesterday about the wide range, not only of nationalities competing now in this sport, but also in ages. Climbing really is a sport for everyone, and I mean everyone. If you want to go and watch the coverage from yesterday's paraclimbing final, if you feel like being inspired and humbled at the same time, get yourself over onto that YouTube channel and watch the paraclimbing final for some of the athletes there. Some incredible climbing from some challenged athletes, proving that it's not that much of a challenge and that climbing really can be enjoyed by anyone of any age or difficulty.
Jana making short work of that first boulder there. Well, Daniel, you'll remember from being in Briançon in the summer that during the week when the World Cup takes place there's also a French Youth Cup and the French Veteran Championships. And frankly, when you see the combativity or competitiveness of these older guys and women who come out, François Legrand, who's a former world champion, he was in it, and they're really like trying to prove they've still got it, and they really go for it. It's fantastic to see.
Marco, actually, the president of the IFSC, when I went over to talk to him the other day, I was
Marco
saying...
Scolaris, yeah.
I was saying, well, it's I know you're all after climbers to interview, but I have a very important man here indeed, and I handed the mic over to Marco, who's the president of the IFSC, guys, if you don't know. And he went, I am a climber. And not only that, he said, I'm going to be getting involved in some of the senior events, I think, over the next few years. So
there's definitely an element of pride there. It's
absolutely.
like, you know, I'm not quite ready for the scrap heap yet. You know, which speaks to me, personally.
Well, if you are joining us on YouTube as well, do pop over onto ifsc.tv and get involved with us in the chat room. We love talking to you guys from around the world. And if you are confused because you can't see where the chat is there, it is to be found on www.ifsc.tv. So, Jana Shershneva is finished. Monica Recchi still on problem 3, though. I don't believe we've seen a top yet, or I haven't seen a top on problem 3,
no.
Which is the compression.
That's right, nobody's at the top of that. Cécile didn't make it either. Hannah Mitba's definitely having a good look at the time left and putting her head around the problem before she has another physical attempt at it, just trying to walk through it in her head. And Olga Bibik, who's on her last boulder, I don't think we're going to see her in the final, and it's a shame because, as I say, that injury she had set her back. I know she had a knee problem earlier this year, but she also had a shoulder problem before that. It's such a shame when you see a really quality athlete getting injured and being plagued with injury and not being able to perform at their best. Monica Recchi slipping off there. I think she's tossing up whether she's... No, she's not going to have that extra attempt. She's given up and looks fairly disgusted. She just flings her sheet into her chalk bag. Yeah, thanks Alex for filling us in on that. We had our eyes on the screen there. Yes, the men's lead will be shown right after the bouldering is finished. You won't miss a thing.
And I've just been talking to one of the young entrepreneurs of climbing that has just popped around the back to mention that actually something worth bearing in mind. Julian Wurm now over on problem 3, you can see at the bottom. Actually, that hold on the diamond white shaped feature onto the left hand side of the wall, you can just see the pink hold around the edge there. That is actually an identical hold to the final, sorry, I think it's the penultimate hold on the wall that they need to push round onto. You can just see Julian Wurm reaching up with her left hand now to touch that. That hold is identical to the one that you can see on the other white diamond shape on the right hand side. So it's interesting that they get an idea of what that hold is going to be already from this point early on. There you can see the compression coming in now before she has to go static to then move across onto this next hold and up onto this one.
It's true that from our camera angle you kind of get the idea it might be a sort of jug to hold on and swing round, but it obviously isn't, and that's what's really causing the problems. Here's Cecilia Avzu going up on the final problem for her. She's a very dynamic, very strong climber. Look, she lost her feet, but she managed to pull it back on.
She's got a heel hook there.
Allez.
Now, how is she going to get from here now,
Sheila? She needs to get that foot up, and she needs to do exactly what she's doing.
And she was smearing there to try and push up onto the final section of the wall. Let's see.
That was a
3
little
minutes.
optimistic. She's got another 3 minutes to figure out what she wants to do with that.
3 minutes. Let's see if Cecile can show us how it's done here. So Petra Klingler is going to be joining
she's gone off. To be honest, we were looking at Cecilia Avzu. I can only assume that she made the top of that because it's very early doors to be giving up. So
2 minutes 30 still on the clock.
Start,
so
and frankly, we would expect her to make the top of the first boulder.
But let's join Julianne Wurm as Julia comes down from the wall there.
Thanks, Ramona. Petra did it in the third attempt, Daniel.
Who is this?
Petra Klingler did.
Oh, Petra Klingler did
boulder
that in the third
attempt.
Yeah. That's a very quick third attempt.
Yeah, she must just have.
Still with 2 minutes 30 to not be on the wall anymore. She must have done those very quickly. Although I suppose the first move is the dyno, bring it down onto the ground.
Yeah, you can burn off quite a few attempts just trying to get a hold of that one. I'd grant you that.
Well, Julia now on problem 3, and also Cecile on problem 4 down on the bottom section of your screen. There's Katerina Sarwin in the top right hand corner of your screen. But all athletes with 1 minute 35 left here, all athletes still struggling with these problems. That was interesting there from Katerina Sarwin. It looked like she was going to turn away from the wall then and lose her footing on the hemisphere on the wall. But she is bearing off to the right now. All she needs is a pop. Lean out too much there on the right hand side.
Just if you're getting a bit confused about the subtitles on Boulder 1 and 2, it's because Petra Klingler has actually topped that route, and we're taking advantage of the fact to give you 2 different camera angles on Boulder 2. So it's actually Katerina Sarwin that is on the top 2 images.
And yes, that is not Petra Klingler with the black shirt and stick. Petra Klingler does not look like that, I'm afraid. That's a man with a stick.
And we're all happy about that, I think. Jule Wurm is getting very, very frustrated, as the others were with Boulder 3. She's had enough and she's stomping off, I think, it's fair to say.
Well, here you can see on the top left-hand screen, you can see what that slab does at the top there with the lean out, and how you can't really bear into that slab because it's not only leaning away from you, it's also leaning off to the side, and that's what's making her swing out as she's trying to pop up for that final hold. Well, it's been exceptionally close so far. Not really anyone pulling into the lead and securing that place in the final. But if there is a lady to do that, to come out and prove that securing a place in the final is possible with a majority of tops, it would be Anna Stor, and she joins us now on problem 1 in the top left. You always know when the senior greats come out, because they have to wave to the crowd before they start attempting the problem.
Oh, she's a great waver, is our Anna. She very often very respectful of the crowd who turn out to watch the competitions and always greets them, and I think it's nice to see. There's a couple of questions in the chat room. Do we know the grades of the boulders? We did run through them earlier, but we know that some of you are coming online as the day's going on. So problem, the one that Anna's about to attempt, the first one is a 7A. That's the one with the first dyno move. Number 2 is a 7A plus, which is more of a precision boulder. Boulder 3, where Hannah Mitba is getting a little frustrated, as the previous climbers did as well. We don't think anybody's topped that one. That's a 7B or 7B plus, and it's all about compression. And the fourth boulder is the one that Monica Recci is hoping to pull off. That's a 7B plus, which has a combination of finger work and power movements. Someone was also asking how many attempts did they get. I'm just going to go into French in a second. There's Anna at the top.
So Anna Stork very quickly moving to the top of that problem there. I believe that was her second attempt. I'm not sure whether that was a flash or not. As I was also watching Jana Shershneva on the top right-hand side of your screen, who's grabbing actually her left elbow as she got down from that first attempt on the wall, and hopefully that's not a strain injury, and she's okay with it. I mean, this is a lot of pressure in the arms here to mantle this first section of the wall.
No problem, Raiba. I hope you're having lots of coffee to get you into the groove of this competition. Somebody was asking how many attempts do they get. They were asking in French. I'll answer you in both. They get an unlimited number of attempts, really, but the less attempts you do, the more likely you are to progress into the final. It's about doing a maximum of problems in the least number of attempts possible. Donc la question sur le nombre d'essais, elles peuvent mettre autant d'essais qu'elles veulent, à la limite. Mais c'est à celle qui fait le plus de problèmes avec le moins d'essais possible qui sera la première. Et donc, griller des essais, c'est quand même pas la meilleure chose à faire. Mais c'est pas une question d'une fois. Et puis c'est fini. C'est pendant les 5 minutes qu'elles ont, elles peuvent faire un certain nombre d'essais. Mais c'est le temps qui va compter à la fin. Elles n'auront plus le temps. Il faudrait descendre quand il y a 0 seconde.
Well, just to update you guys, some of you asking how many are left to come. Well, quite a few, I think roughly 5 or 6 to still come out onto the walls here. And we're saying about Anna being on fire all the way through this competition, and that's absolutely true. Anna Stork coming through from the qualification round with 5 tops in 7 attempts and 5 bonuses in 7 attempts, but also worth bearing in mind not coming through with the best score from the qualifications. And also, I think one athlete that is currently on a roll is Alex Puccio, and the Puccio is about to come out in a few moments' time. We also have Melanie Sandos, Anna Gallamore and Melissa Neve, and Akiyo Noguchi still yet to come. Akiyo Noguchi, I believe, will be next out after this last minute. We're with Hannah Midbow. So no top so far on problem 3, which is a 7B or 7B plus. This is the compression on the left-hand side before bearing round to the right. And the final hold, actually, I think is the blue one at the very top there. So there's like an extra final little mantle to do there.
I think that little mantle is a nightmare because you're pushing off something that's very sloping and very round. From here I can't see if there's maybe a heel hook around the back of that diamond shape thing. I don't think there is. I don't know where they're supposed to put their feet if it's not on the bonus hold that's to the left perhaps. But we've never seen anyone do it, and I'm sure whoever does get up, and my personal money would be on Akiyo Noguchi because she just pulls off the most unlikely moves sometimes. I think of the last 4 or 5 climbers to come out, they would be our safest bet to actually make a decent attempt at this number 3, and I can bet you that none of them will do it the same way.
It's all about making it through to the finals. I think another one that could have given them a run for their money would be Kim Jain earlier today. I'm not entirely sure of how many I think it was 3 she topped.
Yeah, she looked very fluid. She looked really effortless.
Yeah, absolutely, and that just goes to show that it's not always the last climbers to come out. Remember, the way that it works in qualifications for bouldering is that it's on a seeded ranking base, so the highest seeded athletes come out first for the qualifications. Well, as we go into the semis and we take those 20 athletes through to the semi-finals, it works in reverse order, so actually the first athletes out on the wall are the lowest to qualify. They are the ones with the lowest score coming through from the qualifications. But Kim Jain was actually, I think, 3rd out onto the wall, 2nd or 3rd. So one of the lower athletes have had 20 to qualify, and here she is having topped three of the the bouldering problems here in front of us, and possibly, based on the way that a lot of the other athletes have dealt with the walls, we're going to be seeing her maybe even in the final.
Which would be a surprise and yet not, because we have seen her on the rare bouldering appearances that she makes on the circuit. She's there, and I think it's exactly. It's just, I think, the fact that she can't enter all the bouldering and all the lead competitions. There'd be no time for serious training. It would just be going from one competition to the other, and obviously that's exhausting. Mentally and nervously and physically. So
lead is also definitely her forte. That's the one
too right.
that she's on with. But that's the interesting thing. I mean, bouldering was designed as a training exercise for lead climbing.
Yeah.
Came into its own and has eventually been given its own discipline. I think it definitely now stands for itself. For me, it's the one that gets me pulse racing. This is the one that I love watching. The finals of these comps are so exciting because you know that it's all down to attempts and it's all down to who's going to top what, and you're there, and the walls are a lot lower as well, which means that you're quite close to that athlete, especially when we're out in the field next to these walls. It just gets very, very exciting. So do stay tuned for that one, guys. It promises to be an exceptional show, and especially considering we have a huge audience here at Bercy Stadium in Paris. There's quite a show still yet to come.
Petra Klinger actually moving across to the right-hand side of Boulder 2, but not quite getting vertical enough to make an attempt on the final hold. I think it's interesting, this thing between lead and block and bouldering. There's been a kind of a pendulum. As you said, originally the bouldering was to work on your strength to increase your efficiency in the lead. Then it got its own status, and that was all fine. And so you had people specializing either in bouldering or in lead, and then it got to the point where people were saying, well, actually, and the route setting changed. So the bouldering people said, oh, I could do this, and you get there was a right crossover, so it's kind of come back on itself, which is cool.
Ooh, so Jakob coming and doing that for us.
Just to name one.
Just to name one, yeah. Jakob Schubert moving over from the lead to the bouldering. He's unfortunately not doing the bouldering here, as he does want to focus on the lead. Had a really nice chat to him actually on the first day. He managed to discover where we were all set up. He walked past outside and shouted hello, and then was just coming in, and so he sat down and we had about a half an hour chat if you were joining us for the first day. If you missed that, get yourself onto YouTube. Everything's on there, so you can go and have a listen to me and Jakob talking about how he's been doing recently. But yes, he's just doing the lead competition. He's actually climbing right now, and we're going to be bringing that to you later on today as well, so you will get to catch all the action from the men's semi-final. All the finals will be live, so don't worry about that one. You won't know results before you're watching it. But yes, we'll bring you that one later on today. We're still currently with Anna Gallamore.
And there's Petra Klinger. There's Petra. She's just matched that Boulder 2, so she'll be very happy about that. Remember, she finished Boulder 1 pretty quickly. So she's looking good so far. I know in the chat a few of you are saying, well, it's a pain, it's in English. Well, we can't possibly comment. The speed that this is all happening, there's so much action, there's no way we can comment in several languages all at once, even if we wanted to. There is some French TV coverage, but let's face it, the quality images are here. IFSC TV, who's covered every event possible in the bouldering and the lead competitions throughout the year. Just stick with us.
So I just want to have a brief moment, Sheila, with you to go through Anna Gallamore. She actually takes her ticket there and leaves before the end of the time, unable to complete problem 1. But this is an athlete that we're definitely seeing emerge on the very top of her game, and pushing back actually from quite a low placement at the end of 2011.
Yeah, she had a relatively disastrous 2011, yeah.
She ended up in 30th place, which is still not disastrous, I wouldn't say, but it's a lot lower than.
That's why I kind of came back at myself and said relatively disastrous, because obviously she wants to be higher. She had a 13th place this year, but she was 19 in 2010, so a bit of a yo-yo there. But she's back on the up.
Well, she's world
but surprising that she did not pull off that first one.
Well, she's world ranked 13th, but the World Cup rankings for 2012 currently so far, well actually sorry, at the end of this year, as we now have finished the bouldering, she's 13th as well. So Anna Storr is now out on problem 2. Problem 2, the 7A plus, the precision one, working with the slabs at the top of the wall, around to the right hand side. And now look who is out on problem 1. I'm going to hand you over to Sheila to have say hello to the French crowd that might be joining us.
Salut les Français, ça y est, Didi, tu pensais que tu l'avais raté, c'est Melissa. Just to say also, Graham Alderson, as ever, comes in with a word of the wise to point out that sometimes the rankings for the Russians are a bit misleading. because they don't get, there are sometimes visa problems and they don't get to do all the competitions, and obviously that really affects their rankings. And I think that's a really good point, actually. So Melissa missing her first attempt at the dyno move. Melissa qui rate le premier essai avec ce move dynamique, avec le saut, mais c'est une mise en jambe, ça ira après. Je suis confiante.
I am going to I'm going to just briefly hand over to Sheila and another gentleman that has written a book on a climber that unfortunately passed away a few years ago. That was a pro bowler, and that was Chloe. I will try my best to pronounce the last name, but I remember when I was first getting into this, researching this young lady and finding quite a lot about it, and only finding out when I actually arrived in Log Dragomir this year that she had unfortunately passed away. That's Chloe Graftio.
Graftio, yes.
And I'm going to pass over to actually the author of a book on her life now, and let you have a chat with Sheila, with this gentleman. So
we're joined by Joël Graftio, who's Chloe's dad. Chloe, I knew personally, and she was a heroine of my daughter Sophie, who's more of a boulderer than a lead climber. And we had just seen Chloe at the TAB bouldering competition. And then in a climbing accident on a mountain, she was taken by a rock fall and died at a tragically young age. And she was an inspiration to many. Joel and his wife decided that they wanted to make some sense out of what had happened. And they knew Chloe's passion for what she did. And if she had to go, she did what she loved. But they decided to create a foundation. And through, amongst other things, the sale of a book called A Fairy in the World of Climbing. They're trying to raise money for a foundation which will help young climbers to live their dreams. And in some way, Chloe's still looking out for them here. Maintenant, on va le faire un peu en français. Donc, Joël Graftio, c'est le papa de Chloé Graftio. Beaucoup de grimpeurs français et belges, bien sûr, l'ont connu. Elle nous a été volée tragiquement dans un accident de montagne. Alors qu'on venait de la voir, nous, la famille, on l'avait vue quelques semaines auparavant, et quand on a su ce qui s'était passé, on était juste effondrés. Joël, est-ce que tu veux nous présenter votre projet de fondation?
Oui, en fait, bonjour à tous. C'est une ASBL, comme on dit en Belgique, une association sans but lucratif qui a pour but de partager la passion de notre fille Chloé, et partager cette passion grâce à d'autres jeunes défavorisés qui vont partager cette passion à d'autres jeunes défavorisés. Donc cette année-ci, on a déjà pu offrir deux bourses par deux projets français. Une bourse qui a d'ailleurs reçu la bourse Millet, qui est un projet en Albanie, et qui est justement ce partage de jeunes défavorisés d'Albertville qui sont partis en Albanie réaliser et partager leur passion.
So the foundation, now it's up and running and has been able to give grants out to two projects of poorer, shall we say, modest salaried climbers or families. And some climbers from Albertville have been able to go over to Albania to live their passion for climbing there.
Et alors un deuxième projet qui a reçu une bourse cette année-ci, c'est un projet au Vietnam, qui est un projet aussi français qui permettra, parce qu'ils ont commencé à réaliser l'ouverture d'une salle, d'une voie d'escalade au Vietnam.
And a second project which is going to be going out to Vietnam, where they're going to be creating a climbing wall out there. That's also a French project, go out to Vietnam and create this climbing wall, and the foundation is giving them a grant towards that.
Oui, c'est ça. Donc on a pu remettre deux bourses de 400 € à ces deux projets. Et il est prévu d'ailleurs une avant-première à Grenoble bientôt sur le projet en Albanie. C'est un guide d'Albertville, Manu Pellissier, qui est initiateur du projet.
Okay, and if any of you are in the Grenoble area, there's going to be a conference to present what they've been doing in Albania, and and you'll be able to discover what they were doing out there. So if you think this is a good project, and trust me it is, and if you want a good read, because the book is very touching, it's a lovely book, a quality book. There's a DVD with it too, with a report with Chloe Graftio. If you want to know more about this remarkable young woman who touched us all the short time she was with us, please, please, please get online, do a search for A Fairy in the World of Climbing, buy the book, it can be posted out to you, and that will be all the more money that we can use for this foundation to give grants to really worthy causes for encouraging poor young climbers to be able to climb abroad.
Encore un petit mot, je peux dire. Oui, donc allez voir sur le site www.chloegraftio.com. Là, vous aurez d'autres informations. Le livre en français, il est presque épuisé, donc mais en anglais, nous avons encore une bonne centaine de livres qui sont disponibles. C'est un peu plus difficile de le diffuser, mais si vous avez des anglophones qui désirent avoir le livre, allez aussi sur le site www.
Okay, Joel's saying that the French version is pretty much sold out, which tells you just how much Chloe was appreciated and loved in the French-speaking climbing community. But there are copies of the English language version available online, www.chloegraftio.com, and they can send those out to you. Une réimpression de la version française pour ceux qui sont déçus?
Pardon?
Une réimpression de la version française?
C'est vrai que c'est un gros coût. Hein, donc,
and if anybody's just won the lottery, they're looking for money to re-edit the French version so that they can make more money for these worthy causes.
Ouais. Ok,
merci Joël. Hein,
Et je voulais ajouter un petit mot. Hier, j'ai eu l'occasion d'offrir 3 livres au podium, un des podiums de Landy Grimpe. Et c'était formidable de voir les yeux pétillants de ce podium.
C'était émouvant.
Oui,
hein.
c'était
merci
émouvant.
pour ça. Ok, on va retourner à la compétition maintenant.
Ok, merci beaucoup.
Okay, thank you, Joel, for joining us. We're going to go back to the competition. Joel was just saying at the end to tie up that he handed out 3 copies of the book to the paraclimbers on the podiums yesterday. So that was a moving moment for all of us.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. Take care.
I don't think there's a dry eye out in the French climbing community on the chat there. I know I had a lot of problems keeping it together there, talking to Joel. It was a tragedy when we lost Chloe. But back to today's climbers. Akiyo Noguchi is out on the first problem. Sorry, she's been out on the first problem. And we're now looking at the top, left and right, at Anna Gallamore, attempting her second problem. Petra Klinger's having another look at this third one, which has been causing everybody problems. And Katerina Sarvine is hoping to pull off number 4. Another minute left.
Just to catch up with a couple of questions now, I am back with you after that conversation that Sheila has just had with, I believe, is it a relative? Is that her father? Her father, from Chloe Graftio. Moving conversation there, but just to move back and answer some questions to you guys in the chat room. Jackie's actually not the head route setter. You're not able to be head route setter in your home country, and Jackie is French. So we're just going to double check who is head route setter. Jackie is just my liaison on the ground for the bouldering. And also asking, has anybody topped the third boulder? The answer to that one is no, which is very interesting indeed. I believe it's because it's very hard. That's all I'm going to say. It's because it's very hard. The compression on the left-hand side is one thing to deal with, but then bearing round onto the right-hand side and then having that mantle as well. I believe the purple hold there is to be used as a footing, which you've braced on the mantle, but it looks exceptionally difficult, that problem there. And the best attempt, apparently I'm being told from Schlumpf there, was from Petra Klingler. I unfortunately was dealing with the conversation we were having with Chloe's father and Sheila a few moments ago. We are now with Anna Storr on that problem that we are talking about. So now, what are your impressions of how Anna is going to attack this? Do we think we could see a top here? And also the first athlete to come and join us, another athlete to come and join us on her first attempt here. is Melanie Sandoz, who is now down on boulder problem 1, which is a 7A difficulty. That is the jump, guys, the dyno that we've been watching throughout the day. I still find, actually I think that was Jackie moving in front of camera 2 there. I'm going to have to go and have a go at him for obstructing the shot. But problem 2 we found yesterday was a very, very interesting boulder wall, and I'm interested to see how this one's been moving today as well. I'm still finding boulder problem 2 just a generally interesting wall. You can see the bulge of that wall there on the top left-hand screen as Melissa Neve steals a toothbrush from one of the tooth fairies and has a bit of a clean. Melanie Sandoz now attempting problem 1 on that same screen as well. So as I asked you earlier, which is the favourite one for you today? Which is the one that's getting you excited on the boulder problems that we are dealing with? There is Anna Storr, just proving why exactly she is the one to watch. Now this is exceptional. Now she's got a mantle here. Now let's see how she's going to try and get up to the top. This is quite a little pop here, isn't it? A heel hook.
Good grief, yeah. I would have put the heel over the other side if I ever had got this far.
And you can just see actually on the bottom right hand screen, at the very far right there, you can see what kind of a lean the wall is on at that point, and oh, so close. As she gets a hand onto the final hold. This is just what we see from Anna Storr so often. She just comes out and just teaches us.
There's Melanie nailing the dyno on the first one, sorry. And Melissa about to have another go on number 2.
So people were asking about the head route setter. It's actually, for the bouldering, it's Jamie Cassidy. And I will try and grab him as we move through the competition into the finals to have a conversation about the routes that he has set. There's Melanie Sandoz there, also proving that she's not to be meddled with. Anna Storr taking him out to sit down and reassess that one, which is strange actually, that she's looking at the compression side of the wall and not the final side. She seemed to manage 80% of that wall fairly easy on the first attempt for her.
Melissa Neve going for the bonus hold on number 2. Just a bit of an insurance policy in case she doesn't top out. If they top out, they automatically get the bonus. But if it all comes down to numbers of attempts and numbers of attempts at the bonus, like it did with the men on the cutoff point for the final, that might be a smart move.
So Anna is back on her feet, and yes, she is now looking at that right side of the wall. Let's see what she's going to make of that on this next attempt now. It's interesting to see some people in the chat room saying, Alicia talking about Callum Highland. I had a really lovely chat with Callum yesterday, actually off camera and off comms. It was just he was in the arena after we'd finished and we got chatting actually about Greek literature, which is an interesting one. He's a very intelligent young man, Callum Highland, studying for a PhD. If you don't know who that is, he was the only Australian athlete competing here at the World Championships. Unfortunately, I think he's now out of the competition, but he's still around, so if I do see him, I will have a brief chat again. He has already been interviewed. Also, so with 54 seconds now, Anna Storr still on the floor on problem 3. If anyone's going to be the one to do this, it's Anna Storr.
She had another go there, and she kind of pirouetted off the red hold that they're cleaning. Quite an awkward fall, but she seems to be okay. Landed on her cushion, shall we say. Melanie, having finished her first boulder, we're seeing Melissa Neve on the 2 top screens. She's having another go at this second boulder. Come on, Mel, we need you in the final, sweetie.
And also Jana Shershneva now moving. Commentator's curse, Sheila. She comes down, and with 9 seconds it looks like that's going to be it. So the one that has a chance of doing this now is definitely Melissa Neve. If she's going to do it, she's got 2 seconds to get there.
I don't think they're going to give her that, because she wasn't stable on it.
I would imagine that they won't, because the time limit has actually gone, and we know that in the qualifications and also in the semis they are very strict on those 5 minutes. In the finals though, that changes to a 4+ minute basis, which means the athletes have 4 minutes to begin with, and once they are off the ground, if that timer has run out, they are allowed to stay on the wall to make an attempt for as long as they possibly can. The problem is it's very hard to stay on the wall.
Especially with the route setting we've got here today. And here's Alex
Absolutely.
Puccio. I know that she has many, many, many fans in the chat.
Also, we're seeing a lot of support today for Petra Klingler. Let's see whether the Russian athlete Anna Gallamore can make anything out of problem 3 as well. And Akiyo Noguchi now back out on problem 2. Alex, I was talking to just the other day. She's definitely in a good headspace at the moment. She was the highest ranked athlete to come through from the qualifications into the semi-finals, achieving a score of 5 tops in 6 attempts and 5 bonuses in 6 attempts, which means, guys, that of the 5 different problems in the semis, she only fell off once. That just goes to show you the kind of standard that these athletes are. And we have seen this year on several occasions actually a 5 in 5 and a 5 in 5.
Absolutely, and Akiyo is one of these climbers, a bit like what we were saying about Jain Kim, and we said it in the past about Ramon Pibranque. You never kind of reckon you're not worried about them. You're fairly confident that they're going to go and do what they're going to do, and if they come off, it's a surprise. And Akiyo kind of gets me that way too, and she has the most unlikely solutions to problems sometimes, but she does it. There's Alex getting to the top. She missed the dyno once, but she's up on her 2nd attempt. That's good for her.
One lady that definitely has the solution to the problems there. As she leaves with still 3 minutes left on the clock, so that problem was solved within 2 minutes. We did just see some of the athletes not actually managing to top that wall, and that just goes to show the division between some of the competition here and how incredible these athletes really are. Akiyo Noguchi now moving up to the point we just saw Melissa Neve on. She's got plenty more time to make this final move though, so let's see whether she waits for it, whether she's going to go straight away. It looks like she's not going to wait. And you can see the lean there, as we were talking about earlier, on this slab. It's a pretty harsh slab, I'll say.
Do you know what? I'm actually going to go out front and have a look at this from the side, because that last handhold looks like it's so difficult to nail. They have it, then they come off it. They do what we call a door in French, as in, you imagine a door swinging open. They have it, and then the leg comes off, and they're off. So I'm just going to check that out.
Well, you can see here on the top left-hand side of the screen the way that the bulge comes out, and the way the athlete is on the wall before they make that jump. He's already slanted off to one side. It's not a purely flush slab. It's a lot of slabs clumped together, and that bulge in the wall is causing the problem for the athletes. And Akiyo now making her next attempt on this one. Anna Gallamore still on problem 3. We have seen no tops so far on problem 3. Anna Stor definitely the athlete to come closest with a hand on the final hold there, but not managing to top it. Do we think this could be an untoppable? Or are we going to see Puccio pulling a Puccio a little later on and coming out aggressively and just powering up that wall? Let's wait and see what happens over the next few moments. Welcome if you are joining us on IFSC.tv or indeed on YouTube now as well. We are the most watched live stream at present on YouTube, and that is definitely something to be proud of, guys, because it is you that allows the support to grow as much as it does. We are joined in high definition as well, guys. Well, actually, a question there from Dookie saying, I like it when there is one unclimbed problem because you get to see the pros problem solving. That's a really, really good point. And whenever I was talking with the route setters, that is their target. It's always something that Jackie says, if it's a perfect wall, then you should see one athlete topping it. That's in the lead. I was talking to Adam Pol, who is the Polish head route setter for the lead wall as well. We'll be seeing his work a little later on today, but that seems to be the thing with the route setters. You only want one athlete to top all of them all over there. Actually, from Fuchs in the chat room, please make YouTube available in Germany. It's so sad to see these pictures only on this page. Well, that is actually unfortunately out of our hands. That is something to do with Germany's legislation with YouTube. So if you are joining us in Germany or trying to get on in Germany or in China, go over to the 247.tv homepage, navigate through the multitude of different sports that we cover till you get to the IFSC.tv page, and get on that one there and have a look at that. Well, while we are just about to start with our next turnaround, I think it's been quite a long time before we had a dance fun fact. So let's bring up the graphic. Oh yeah. Right,
it's
here
going
we are.
down well in the chat room, Dan. I think it's a fine line between cheesy and, you know, but it's right. It's just right.
I like to walk the line between cheesy and genius. That's where I live. The fact is, there are more Bretons, or people from Brittany, in Paris than in Brittany.
I see, I said that to you earlier, that actually most Parisians are not Parisians.
So there you are. There are more Bretons, people from Brittany, in Paris than from Brittany. And this is one of my favourite ones as well. I'm going to give you one more just to kick things off as well here. The oldest bridge in Paris is called Pont Neuf, which is New Bridge.
Do you know, at one point it was.
I don't think they thought the
Brittany, of
name
course,
through. They
Brittany,
built
of
it to
course.
last and called it New Bridge. They definitely didn't think that one through.
Yeah,
did
it was
they?
actually built. It was, yeah, it's a gorgeous bridge actually. It leads over to one of the islands in the middle of the Seine, opposite the main town hall of Paris.
Well, Anna Storr has just topped problem 4. Melissa Leneve now on problem 3, and problem 1 is out of bounds, guys. We are finishing up now on problem 1.
The problem number 2, I just nipped out to the front to see what that is about, and there is an overhang. If you look at the right hand, if you look at the top hold, there is a kind of a lip to it on the right hand side, but you really just have to get the angle just right to be able to get one hand in it. I think it's possibly going to be the left hand, and then match on the outside. I don't think there's even room for more than 2 fingers on the inside of it, maybe 3, but certainly not 2 hands worth. It's not a jug by anybody's definition.
But it's looking to me that we are going to be seeing Kim Jain in the final here, along with Anna Storr. Both of them have 3 tops. I'm going to try and have a look at who else has 3 tops as we move towards the end of the competition. But unfortunately, apologies that we can't get the live updated results for you. That is another thing that is unfortunately out of our hands here in the stadium. They're not able to update them that quickly here, as there are about 4 other competitions going on simultaneously. So it's a little bit manic down on the ground at the front of the wall. But they will be updated as soon as possible, and as soon as we can bring them to you, we will let you know that as well. Melissa Leneve now, let's pay attention to what's happening here. Melissa Leneve, with the crowd really picking up behind her here. Can she do this? Can she push up on this one? If she can, then she will be the only athlete today that has done so.
She's had her heel on that left hand bonus hold. She's now got her toe on it.
That is one hell of a mean mantle,
you
isn't
really
it?
do not want to have to change positions on that 17 times. 1 minute left. Ooh.
And that final hold as well is practically non-existent. It's kind of pot-marked, the final hold at the top there.
Doesn't look particularly welcoming, that's for sure.
It's not anything to give you a grip, but how close was Melissa Leneve then? Looking disappointed as well. I don't think we're going to see a top on problem 3. I have to be honest. That's my personal opinion. I don't think it's going to be seen. She does have 35 seconds. If she really powers at this one, she might have a chance of it.
I noticed Alex Puccio Anna Storr, when she was looking at it at one point, she definitely made a gesture like she just wanted to pull up on it, completely close her right arm, and then shoot off to that blue hold. But as we know, that didn't actually transpire. Well, Mal, I would agree with you. If it was just about a strength move, obviously your money would be on Alex Puccio, but it's just so awkward. Now, Akiyo Noguchi, she's obviously had a bit of a dent to her confidence because she didn't pull off that number 2. But then if she's the only one to pull off number 3, that puts her right back in the race.
Just to update you guys, there is going to be a competition going on Facebook for those of you that get on and like the IFSC Facebook page, and also get on and like Sports Climbing 2020. There's a competition going on there to be able to win some of the World Championship rope. It's actually Diablo rope. It's very, very good rope. It's what they're using for the championships here on the lead wall, and that is going to be based around you answering 5 questions, and you're going to need to have watched the entire stream that we are giving you here on ifsc.tv to be able to answer all 5 questions. And it is the first person that is able to answer all 5 questions the fastest. And I'm going to tell you all now that I have to watch the whole stream, and yes, I'm going to be answering the questions as well myself, trying to win that rope. So guys, do stay tuned, and we will be reading out those questions to you as we move through the competition as well. If you are unable to watch the stream, you'll also have to just keep alert on the IFSC Facebook page as well. But there's a fantastic competition coming up over the next few days.
Are all the questions about Dan's fun facts, or actually about the competition?
No, that's my own personal quiz.
Well, I've said to you, you need to start this. And
I test the people in the chat room.
There is a definite potential for this. I know Pala's up for it. I know there are other frequent flyers in the chat room who are all up for the idea of a Dan's Fun Fact Facebook page. Here's Alex trying to figure out how to get to the top of this number 2. It really is a tiny hold. Others have done it though.
This is Alex now. Different foothold. Look, she's using the wall there. That has actually pushed her away. Now you can see. Now you've been and had a look on that wall out front, Sheila. But you can see the way that the slant is in the top left-hand side. It's being scrubbed now of your screen. Have a look at the top left-hand screen. At present, you can see what that slab is doing. Putting that foot on there and using a smear, I think might have been the thing that actually, when she went for it, has pushed her further away from the wall.
Well, this is the thing. As soon as you're on the bottom half of your body is on the bit that's sticking out, highly technical description there, then obviously your centre of gravity is being pulled towards the ground, and that's the whole issue here. I think it's about getting the pushing forward with the basin, as they say in French, which is the
core.
The core, thank you. From the waist down, pushing right in, and crimping your toes on those footholds at the bottom, and just try and keep your centre as close to the structure as possible to get off and not be pushed backwards.
Well, it is a slab. It's all about bearing into that wall. There's cries now from the crowd for Akiyo Noguchi as she moves on to this one. As some people are saying in the chat already, I just noticed saying it's going to be Akiyo that figures out some really smart way to do this. Now let's see if she is the one to do it. She is hugging the hold to herself, and it's giving her the extra height. This could be something special to watch now. Let's see how Akiyo does this. She's really powering up.
That looks really promising. I think that could work.
1 minute 15. I think that could be the way to do it there, and then also getting the left leg up onto the side of that mantle as well, maybe giving you a bit more to bear onto the wall as you push up for the final hold. Maybe
when she was hugging it close to her, I thought that looked like she was just going to stretch up and be there, but it is a huge stretch. It's not
the possibility you're thinking of maybe resting a forearm on top of it once you're up, and then using the other one to
just
reach
like
across.
The counter of a bar, exactly.
So literally sitting on the mantle to be able to reach out. What have you been doing on the weekend, Sherry? Sitting on bars around Paris?
No, the problem is I haven't been sleeping. I could not get to sleep last night for the jingle of the teaser they're using for the competition. Just went going on and on in my head.
And also, surely the jingle for Dan's Fun Fact.
Maybe that's it. Maybe I just got woken. So I was awake at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I managed to get over for a bit, and then I had this stupid chasing around the French countryside dream. It was like, oh, bizarre. Anyway, enough.
Well, with 10 seconds, such a shame, but it looks like
Alex is throwing in the towel on that one.
And Akiyo also throwing in the towel, moving
away.
This
is going to be a really open final. It's you know, the favourites are not necessarily. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say it's been mimicked exactly what you just said by Alex in the chat room as well. It looks like it's going to be some surprises in store for the final. What were you saying? Sorry, Sheila.
No, exactly that. I think the favourites are not doing what we expected, and Jain obviously seems to be the kind of surprise appearance.
Well, it was already
in terms
an
of the
interesting
classification. Oh, absolutely.
Due to Shauna not being here for one, Shauna Coxey with a broken leg for
Nina
Great Britain.
Markovic as well.
Well, she had a phenomenal year this year.
Yeah.
She ended up in 3rd place on the overall title rankings for the bouldering season. We've also lost Mina as well due to her hand. And also Sasha de Julien as well, due to another hand injury.
We weren't sure that she was going to do the bouldering, but certainly in the league competition we were looking for Sasha to be amongst the finalists. But
and we know that Mina and Sasha are predominantly lead climbers, but Mina has had quite a year this year on the bouldering circuit, and even Sasha. No, actually, Sasha wasn't in Vale. Sasha's only done a couple of league competitions so far this year, but I know that she was trying to be here at the World Championships. But Mina Markovic has had quite an impressive year in bouldering, and it's such a shame to lose her here, and also such a shame to not have Shauna as we move through into the semi-finals of the World Championships. I will just say of Shauna that we saw some very interesting thinking through of the problems over in Vale actually for her. She managed to top the problem 3 there for the women's. If you want to see the replay of that, get online. But she did it completely differently to the way everybody else did it. Just a completely different route. Just went somewhere that we were never expecting the athletes to go. Everyone was struggling to do it. And she actually made it harder for herself, and we were sitting there she must have clung onto that wall for a good 40 seconds in one of the most uncomfortable positions. Shauna Coxey. And she did it. She topped the boulder. So you always have these surprises coming through.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, because at the European Youth Block bouldering competition at Argentière-la-Bessée, just after Briançon, I know you had gone off to, was it Arco? But I stayed down there for that. And Nathan Phillips, who's an up-and-coming, I think he was the junior bouldering champion in Britain, was honoured to make his acquaintance with his dad Clive. If you're there on the chat, hello. And I'm very used to see the French youth boulderers and their style, and there is a French style, I think, it's fair to say. And then Nathan would come on, and young Owen, also the Irish climber, and Dominic Burns, and they would just have this completely different approach to the problems. And I felt that they were tying themselves in knots and making it harder on themselves, as you're saying Shauna did, on the one you're thinking of. And yet it works for them, so who's to say? I mean, it is all about problem solving, and it doesn't really matter how you do it as long as you do it. So
there's a huge mental aspect. I always end up talking about the
absolutely,
mental
and
side
it's
of
really
climbing.
great when you see the international competitions, because you get the different training styles and the different climbing styles all mixing together, and everybody learns off everybody else and feeds off everybody else. What we were saying about the people who were missing was making me think about Sachiyama when we were in Briançon, because he really wanted to win Briançon with Jakob Schubert in the competition, because Jakob, as we remember, went out in the semis at Chamonix. So these girls who are doing the bouldering here and doing the lead climbing, well, I'm sure they're sort of saying to themselves, oh, well, I'm in with a chance because there isn't Sasha, there isn't Mina and everything. At the same time, they want to, in a very friendly kind of way, they want to beat the other best climbers and prove that they're the best. It's very interesting to see how they all work together. They're the best of friends, and then when they get out there, obviously it's about winning.
Well, we haven't had much of a chat about this one. This is problem 4. This is a 7B plus on the rough gradings that I've been given from Jackie Goroff. I'm having a conversation with him about the routes. That was Melissa Neve approaching the second, third of the wall, and that's the girl, the local girl from the competition. As we saw over in Munich, Julia Wurm's face was everywhere, haunting the streets of Munich, and in this one it's been Melissa Leneve all across Paris advertising this competition. Very well-known French athlete, and unfortunately that means that she's hit a problem there on problem 4. This is going to be such a bizarre final, I think. I'm not entirely sure who's made it and who hasn't. I believe Kim Jain is in the final with 3 tops. I think that means that Anna is also in the final, which we would expect to see. But other than that, I'm not entirely sure who we're going to be joined by in our golden 6. as we move through this.
But I hate to say it, I don't think Melissa's going to be there. And well, as you say, she's the poster girl for the competition, and there were high hopes that she would be here. She's been very strong on the World Cup bouldering circuit. So the French hopes will be residing in Melanie Sandoz now. So here's Akiyo Noguchi on the final problem, and Alex Puccio, is she going to be the one? We were saying maybe she's got the strength to get up from that awful big red round hold on the top right of your screen. Then she needs to pull up on that to grab the very unwelcoming blue final handhold. Oh, she comes off the start, asking to get that brushed off. It's the same hold pretty much as the one that you see on the right hand side, but obviously it's on an underhang, which isn't very helpful. I'm sure she'll solve that particular issue, and then once she gets some, very interested to see if she just powers through this last move, and if she waits till the last 5 seconds to do it.
I think we're going to see a Puccio here. I'm loving that we've now coined that term, because it's something that I've been speaking to Alex about, and my attitude towards Alex whenever I'm chatting to her, because I obviously know Alex quite well now, as Chris co-commentates with me. One of the things I keep saying to Alex is just go out and do it as fast as you can, because for some reason with Alex, her head stops thinking too much about the problem in the last 10 seconds of attempting a problem, and she just goes as fast as she can, and she does something which is completely impossible, that she was struggling with for 4 or 5 minutes beforehand, and she does it in 8 seconds. It's just
yeah, I've seen that on a couple of occasions. It's quite remarkable. There's Akiyo Noguchi making the bonus on this problem number 4. She needs this for the final. Looking good. I have to admit, I love this climber. I think she's unpredictable. Yes, absolutely. Here she is. Yes, that's it. Final for Akiyo Noguchi. Well deserved.
The thing is with Kim Jain is that it's just very, very smooth watching Kim Jain as it flows through. Now, Akiyo's got an element of that, but Akiyo still has that raw kind of expression and emotion and passion coming through. Kim Jain can be very, very contained when she's climbing. Every time she finishes on the wall, she also bows at the audience, which I think is a beautiful thing to do. Akiyo, every now and then you can see her kicking up a bit of the passion in that one.
Yeah, but you know Momoka Oda. You talk to Momoka and she has this tiny little girl voice in Japanese and in English, and you sort of think, oh, she's so sweet, Momoka. But actually, you get her on a wall and it's in her head, she's doing this. They have this huge mental attitude. She's exactly the same. Really nice guy when he's got his 2 feet in the ground, but you get him on a wall and he is a killer. He wants to get to the top. Love them. The Japanese, I've got to know the Japanese team quite well, as I've said and bored everyone with before. My daughter Sophie is a huge fan of Momoka's, and so they all talk to us, and got a huge big hug from Sachi when I came in yesterday, which was lovely. And they really are totally committed, really enjoy it. A bit like what you were saying about Magnus Mitbo. He's just here to enjoy himself, obviously wants to do well, but it's all about enjoying your climbing, and that's great. And I think as long as you still have the love for it, you'll have the passion to get there and to do as best as you can. She's not looking as happy with this as I actually thought she might be, but we still have a minute to go before she pulls out all the stops. Maybe we should just play with the clock and tell her she only has 10 seconds to do them in. Or invent a new category for her, speed bouldering.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're going to see the Puccio. We're going to see her pulling a Puccio in a few moments. 45 seconds on the clock now. So I see a lot of support for Kim Jain in the chat room now as well, talking about her and how exceptionally talented she is, and a very stylish climber indeed. I can only agree with you on that one. A question from Thomas to speaker. Well, welcome Thomas. My name is Daniel Finn and I'm here with Sheila McCarran. And are we going to watch the last climbers in the semi lead or not after bouldering?
We're not going to see the Puccio.
We're not seeing a Puccio. I'm disappointed.
She's taking her sheet back. And,
I am definitely going to have a word with Alex about that one. I expected a Puccio then. The last 10 seconds where she just charges up the wall, but obviously not, apparently. So that's that's a real shame. Let's hope that she can come out and hit harder on problem 4 in a few moments' time. So yes, you're asking about the lead. Guys, we'll be going over to the lead a little bit after we finish up here with the bouldering. Now what we're going to do is when we finish with the bouldering, as the lead is going on at the same time, we're going to take a little bit of a break and update you on the time that we will be coming back on the Facebook pages and on the Twitters as well. You can get onto Twitter and follow for all the updates on IFSC's Twitter page, indeed on 24/7's Twitter page as well. And I tell you what, I'll even tweet about it. So if you want to find me on there at @_Daniel Finn, you can do, and I'll let you know when we're going back live again. But it should be roughly about an hour, I think, after we finish here with the bouldering, and then we will be. Mike is actually just saying to me, he's thinking it's probably going to be more likely 2 p.m. Central European time. The main competition tonight doesn't open to the public until 6, so plenty of time there for you guys to see the lead competition. You will not miss a thing at all. We will definitely bring it to you live here. So I'll keep you updated. Go and find us all on Twitter, and we'll keep you updated on when we're coming back to you. But we are here now with Melanie Sandoz, 3 minutes 20 on the clock. Questions in the chat room coming in. Is Callum Hyland out of the competition now? I believe he is, Alicia. I believe you're his cousin. I had a really nice chat to Callum yesterday after the competition was finished. In a brief break before coming back and bringing you this live stream, as we were going all day yesterday. We did about 12 hours, I believe, of live coverage yesterday. But I managed to catch Callum, and we had a conversation about him and how he is as climbing. Anyone doesn't know Callum, he was the only Aussie climber here in the competition, as unfortunately we don't have James Casey or Chris Webb-Parsons with us here at the championships. But Chris has now just piped up in the chat room saying, will 2 flashes get you in? Chris, I believe that it might be 2 flashes to get you in. Yeah, I can tell you that Kim Jain and Anna have done 3, but I think there's very few of them that have actually done 3. It's going to be a very open final, I believe. So there is still a chance for Alex, and also I think for Melanie. I think Melissa is out though. I
believe that's the case as well, yeah.
Too many, but I think it's going to come down to attempts as well, guys, so we're going to have to wait for that one. Melanie just slipping off there. Couldn't quite hold the pop onto the left-hand side.
I think Melanie is our last hope of a French climber in the final, which obviously would be a huge boost for the local crowd when they come in tonight. And tomorrow?
Well, especially after losing Guillaume in
too right.
In the bouldering for the men's.
He was looking so strong in the qualifiers, and then just missed out on the final of the men's bouldering by an attempt on a bonus hold. How close?
I know.
Gutted or what?
A question again in the chat room from Alicia. Hi, I think you're probably joining us from Australia, so it's nice to see you guys over there. Asking where we can find the replays for his climbing and for the climbing in general. You can get yourself over to YouTube, guys. Go over to YouTube and look on the IFSC channel. Thank you, Ryber, for answering that question for me as well. I'm going to try and decide who my avatars in the chat are going to be today, about getting you all over onto Facebook now and liking Sports Climbing 2020 to try and help us push towards the Olympic movements. 52 seconds left on the clock. Is Melanie Sandoz going to be able to pull something out of the bag here? And yes, from KRK, the Rei Sugimoto curse got Gigi. And Rei Sugimoto, one of those ones that you often forget about, but then just comes out of nowhere and gets into the finals. He is a phenomenal climber, but it's just he's got this such a bizarre style. It's very interesting to watch. Don't miss the final for the for any of the events, but you know, for the bouldering, make sure you don't miss it, because it is always so tense, so exciting. Because even though these athletes are in isolation, they know when an athlete has come out and flashed a problem, because it's they say goodbye to one of their athletes from behind in the ISO, and within 20 seconds they're back in the ISO again.
That's right. Afraid it's bye-bye to Mel on the fourth. She didn't manage to pull that off. I frankly don't know where that leaves her now.
Well, guys, this is our last climb with Alex Puccio. She has to do this to stand a firm chance of getting through into the finals, and she has to do it in as few attempts as possible.
Yeah, this has been one of the most surprising semi-finals we've seen in a long time. Really, the route setting has posed a problem. It's all puns intended for these girls. I know sometimes in the chat room you've been saying, oh, these are too easy or whatever, but I think that's kind of knocked that one on the head. And if it ends out that the French contingent have Cécile Auzou in the final without Melissa and Melanie, that really would be a turn up for the books. And my God, what a fantastic achievement by her. At 40 years old, going for the combined event to make the final, that would just be amazing. And I'm sure the whole crowd would get behind them. She's one of the more popular climbers. Her family's gorgeous. They're at Massy Climbing Club. It's the biggest club in terms of membership in France. And obviously not that far from Paris, so I'm sure the entire club would turn out to support her. If they're not already booked to come, they'll be trying to push the doors to get in.
But if not, don't worry, you'll be able to see everything here as we move through the competition. The World Championships here in Bercy in Paris. Hello to you. This is the last climb of the women's bouldering semi-finals. I'm Daniel Finn, and I'm joined by Sheila McCarran here in the chat room with you guys. We can see you all. 3 minutes left on the clock, and some people saying in the chat room, this is Alex's boulder. Well, this is a 7B+. It's very finger orientated, but it's also a very power orientated move. There's some quite dynamic, large movements with the arms here on this boulder, and that's definitely Alex's style, I would say. She's a very, very powerful athlete.
Well, you see the move where Melanie Sandoz was coming off, where she had her left arm going up to that top left yellow handhold, sort of 2/3 of the way up the upper diamond pyramid shape. Melanie had the hand on the bonus at the right, and then she went up with the left hand to that hold, and then she just could not keep herself on it when her feet came off. I think Alex would be able to nail that, bring her feet back up, stabilize and go on to the right. Ryba focusing on the essential issues of the day, i.e. Alex's hairstyle. Mind you, Daniel was going on about Momokas yesterday, so that's fair enough.
It's interesting how much attention you guys pay to these athletes. Ryba just saying, have you noticed that Alex has changed her hairstyle? She's made it more straight. Sorry, it used to be more straight and now it's more curly. I actually had a conversation with her about this because she found out about you guys saying these sorts of things. Actually, her hair is naturally curly. There's a random dance fun fact right at the end. It's naturally curly and she straightens it. Bet you didn't know that.
Wasn't it Samson and curly hair, all about strength and all that business? Samson and Delilah. I'm sure that was something about hair. Anyway, she is one of the physically strongest. See, there's exactly
there
what I said to you.
We saw Melanie Sandoz a few seconds ago trying that exact same move and losing the grip on the right hand. That just goes to show you the strength of her hands and her fingers here. This is a very finger-oriented. Oh my word!
Yeah, but she knows how to do it now. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. She's just lost an attempt there, but she just don't panic. Zen, everything's fine.
Unbelievable. Well, this is the time for it. She's got to be able to do this. She's figured out how she's going to do it. She has 50 seconds. She's got to hit the wall again. She's got to hit it as fast and as hard as she can. This could be the Puccio we were promised.
She has to pull a pooch.
Let's see what happens here.
That's what Scott calls it, pull a pooch.
And yes, right, that's how stunned I was then at the end there as Alex got those final movements going on there. 23 seconds, this is going to be close, guys. She's hitting it very fast. Oh, unbelievable. 10 seconds, come on, one more attempt, Alex.
No,
10 seconds. Oh, no.
Oh, and she could well get yellow carded for that. She's just chucked her bag down.
Unbelievable.
Because, of course, unlike the finals, she only had the 5 seconds not only to get on the wall, but get to the top of the wall, and that just was not enough.
Well, we haven't seen a pooch from the pooch. She has moved away. What a stunning end of the competition there. Now, unfortunately, due to the fact that on the ground they are still obviously counting up the lead semi-finals for men's, we don't actually have any results coming in from the bouldering at present. Do stay tuned. We will try and get them for you, and they'll be updated on ifsc-climbing.org. So, guys, stay tuned. Come and find us on Twitter, on IFSC's Twitter page, on 24/7's Twitter page. We are aiming to be back with you at 2 p.m. Central European time. But come and find us on Twitter. You can also find myself on Twitter at @_Daniel Finn, and I'll give you guys an update on when exactly we're planning on coming back to you live on the internet, on the social media networks. We'll be back with you at that time, I believe, rejoined by Sheila.
Yeah, for a while I need to do a rehearsal for the opening ceremony this evening, but I'll obviously give you all the time I can.
Fantastic. So we'll be joined again, hopefully, by Sheila for a short amount of time as well. But for now, guys, we are going to be leaving you, and we will be back later on with the men's lead semi-finals, and that'll be at roughly, we're aiming for 2 o'clock Central European time. See you shortly.
Today, Top 30 is the only company in the world able to design, produce, set up and manage a top-level competition. Everything within the same company. Everything with the trustworthiness and professionalism that an official competition requires. Everything. Top 30. Top 30.
Coming up only to hold